Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. I am so excited about today's episode. We have world-renowned Pilates guru Blossom Leilani Crawford with us. We are going to talk about what is Pilates and why is it so good for you. And then we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do some movements that we'd love for you to join us in on. So if you have a chance, sit on the floor like I am on a mat so that you can follow along. We're going to go through movements that help you relax before bedtime, movements that help you use up that energy when you've had a rough or stressful day, and movements that just really help you reset and have good posture, good movement throughout your day. So I'm so excited to have you here, Blossom. Thanks for joining us.
I'm so happy to be here, Stephanie. This is going to be fun.
Oh, and one thing I should say, you can see that I'm sitting on the floor on a yoga mat right now. So if you are able to, while you're watching this, maybe go somewhere where you can sit on the floor on a yoga mat. This episode is going to be a little different in that we're going to talk a little bit and then we're going to move. Blossom's going to show you some great movements to do to relax and to use energy in a different way. And we'd love for you to follow along with us. So Blossom, tell us about you.
Okay, no problem. So my name is Blossom. I live in Brooklyn, New York. I'm from Hawaii. And I had the really fortunate experience of meeting this really wonderful Pilates teacher in my dance training at New York University. And this amazing woman named Kathleen, she was the only Black woman really doing Pilates, and actually the only Black woman certified by Mr. Pilates that I happened to stumble upon, and she became sort of my lifelong friend and my mentor. And really, she was an incredible intuitive Pilates teacher. And I still pinch myself thinking that I was not only able to work with her, but assist her for so many years. And I now teach in this little studio in Brooklyn and in workshops in all over the country and actually even all over the world. I'm very fortunate that because of my relationship to Kathy Grant and that work that I did there since 1993, I get to travel the world and teach Pilates and share how to move well with everyone. And it's such a great job.
Well, and I have to say, you all, Blossom is being totally modest here because she's actually in high demand across the globe. She not only teaches regular people like you and me, but she also teaches Pilates instructors how to improve their craft. And whether she's going to Asia or Europe or across the United States, people clamor to get a workshop with Blossom. I was actually at an Asutra event in Chicago. There was a Pilates teacher there who I didn't know. She came up to me and she said, "I hear you know Blossom Leilani Crawford." And I was like, yes, in fact, Blossom was my first Pilates teacher, and now we're dear friends. And she was so impressed that I actually knew you personally. Well, let's talk a little bit about why Pilates is helpful. For me personally, I used to have chronic pain issues. I had a lot of lower back pain. My feet would cramp a lot. I have a little scoliosis in the upper part of my spine, and so I just couldn't do certain movements very well. I started doing Pilates about 15 years ago. You trained me early days, and my lower back pain is almost always gone. My feet don't cramp as much, and I just feel like I can move better. So tell us, Blossom, what is it about Pilates that helps us move better and feel better?
I think the big thing that Pilates does, and this is definitely the way I was trained by my teacher, by Kathy Grant, it's about awareness, like about knowing not only where your body is in space, but knowing how it's feeling and maybe what you can do for yourself to make it feel better. Like that's what I love about Pilates. And I definitely am in this lovely studio with cool Pilates equipment. But what I also love about it is that I don't need a lot of things. All I really need is a mat, and sometimes in a pinch, that's a towel on a hotel room floor. So that's what I love about Pilates, is it's about awareness. And the cool thing, I think, the thinking about Pilates is that movement heals. And I really do believe that movement is a healing thing that we can do, and that it doesn't take someone fancy like me sort of talking you through it, that you can maybe learn a few things and go, you know what, that's what my body needs. Or just remember, like, oh, I'm feeling a little stiff. Have that awareness and go, oh, I can do a little bit of these movements. And yes, we can call it Pilates, but it's really movement, and movement does heal.
I love that. That's so in line with our mission and values at Asutra, where it's about intentional self-care. What are the daily practices you can do for your body, for your mind, for your soul, that really help you, relieve that pain, get better sleep, boost your mood, but that help you take care of yourself so you can both address an immediate issue that you might be feeling, but also prevent future issues. And I love that idea that movement heals. I mean, obviously, if you have a serious injury or a serious, illness or ailment, of course, see a doctor. But if it's little everyday aches and pains or just difficulty going to sleep, trying some of these practices for self-care, movement, meditation can be so great. You mentioned that you were trained as a dancer.
Yes.
I obviously had some chronic pain issues. And then I know there are a lot of professional athletes, for example, who do Pilates too. To your point about movement heals, Pilates, I think, you tell us, is great for both maybe dealing with past injuries, but also helping your performance, whatever you're doing.
I think that's one of the great things about Pilates is that there's so many different kinds of movements, and I can be rehabbing someone before surgery, before they have a knee surgery. I can also be taking them after knee surgery and getting them strong again, or just like I can have a professional football player that I can be like, oh, okay, you need to really work on your twisting. Let's go, right? So, and I can sort of up the resistance, I can drop it down. And so that's what the tools are really great for, but the base is really just still Pilates and movement. And yeah, there's so many ways I can play with that and work with and kind of meet you wherever you are as a Pilates teacher. And as someone who's maybe going and checking out different kinds of Pilates things, check in with yourself and see, is this right for me? Does this feel good? Because if it's feeling good, then great. If it's not feeling good, try another avenue, or maybe try to drop some resistance, or maybe do something maybe a little less intense in the Pilates realm if you want to try it.
Well, and I love what you said about meeting people where they are with Pilates. I love yoga. Yoga is something that's part of my practice. I really enjoy it. But the one thing I sometimes find is that if you go to a yoga class, everybody's sort of doing the same thing. And sometimes you can even get pushed a little bit to twist too much or hold a pose in a way that's not actually great for where your body is at that moment. What I found with Pilates is it's so focused on aligning your body the right way, focusing on that form so that when you do move, you feel better. In fact, a little story from just the past week for me, I was on a hike the other day and I was going downhill, and sometimes going downhill can be hard on our knees. And I tend to have some pain in my right knee. So I was feeling my right knee nag me. And then I remembered what I learned from you a long time ago about how so often things that happen in our knees or our hips or our back are coming from further down the muscle chain in our body. And in fact, can come from our feet. So I remembered what you taught me about feeling my toes while I walked. So I was really focusing on feeling my toes in my hiking shoes while I was going downhill. And it was almost like magic. A couple steps later, no pain in my right knee.
That to me is what Pilates is all about. My teacher, Kathy Wright, used to say that Pilates was for the unexpected. Like if something comes up and you're like, uh-oh, this is getting hard, what can I do? I can do this. So for once there was a blackout that happened in New York City, and poor Kathy Wright in her 80s lived up 14 flights of stairs. And she had to climb those 14 flights. And I said, how did you do it? She goes, I do Pilates. I knew how to do it, right? You kind of go, okay, those muscles aren't working. What else can I use? It really teaches you how to strategize with your own body and go, okay. And also to know I have that strength in me. Where am I going to find it? Right. So I love that story. Yeah, Pilates is for the unexpected.
So some of us are lucky to be in places where there are a lot of Pilates studios and teachers, and some of us may be in places where it's harder to access a good Pilates teacher and studio. I know you have an amazing website that I subscribe to, so no matter where I am in the world, if I'm traveling to visit stores for a sutra, or going and speaking somewhere, I can always log on to your website and do a short video or a long video for Pilates, depending on where I am that day. Can you tell us a little bit about your website?
Are you kidding me? I'd love to. So because I've traveled all over the world, and access is a big problem for people who really live in very far away places, and also access to me is often a problem. So I created my own streaming site, blossompilates.com, and it's a really great way for you to sort of come and teach, sort of come into my class, and it's weekly classes that I drop all the time. And there's sometimes little short bits, they're big bits, depending on what you want. And again, equipment or no equipment, I really am thinking about all the different people who I would love to be able to teach every day regularly that I can't, and what I think people are needing and wanting these days. So yeah, and that's my streaming site. And it's been a really wonderful way to sort of teach people and reach people that I can't normally see, like my clients in Asia. The timing is not great. There's a one woman who comes to class. I don't know how she does it. She comes at 2:00 in the morning and does Pilates with me. I know she always wins whenever she shows
That's
up.
Commitment.
Yes. Yeah, we all can't be like that. I'm definitely not doing that. And, it's been really great to sort of be able to teach those people in very far away places.
Well, we'll definitely put blossompilates.com, the website, in the description on this video so you all can look at it. And I think you actually have a special offer for Sutra people, right? For the website?
Yes. Yeah. If you guys will get a special code so that instead of just trying it for 30 days for free, you can try it for 60 days for free and see if it's a fit. Because if it's a fit, great. And you can try classes anytime, anywhere with me, hopefully making you laugh just a little bit. Laughing is breathing.
That's true. I love it. Well, I know you're also a huge fan of using a Sutra products as part of your own practice as a teacher and with your clients. In fact, I know you love our Mr. Mood. Tell us more about how you use those.
Well, I actually have, because, they're sold as a set. So I bought the whole set and I put it in my studio, and the reaction was really great. Like, people sort of love going to go in the bathroom and pick a scent, and it's always interesting to sort of see what people pick, especially the people who picked up a Chuli one. I'm like, that's interesting. I always find that interesting. What I really use it for is, I'm often in my studio for hours and hours, and I've got lots of different clients, and sometimes I have to pick it up energy-wise, and sometimes I have to bring it down energy-wise, or just I need a shift. And I often will use these to sort of just clear my brain space energy for the next person, to sort of, so it's a reset, almost like wiping the slate clean for myself. That's how I often use the Mr. Mood products in my studio.
I love that. While you were talking, I was just spraying one of my favorites, which is the peppermint Mr. Mood. It just gives me like a burst of energy and focus. It just, to your point, it feels like it cleans the slate. It's such a mood booster. Yeah. And then magnesium, obviously at a Sutra, we're huge believers of the healing power of magnesium, topical magnesium in sprays, lotions, soaps to help with pain relief, sleep, mood. How did you discover magnesium?
I first discovered magnesium actually through my acupuncturist. I was having a little bit of trouble sleeping, and she said, you could try a little magnesium. And that's when I first learned about how magnesium is best absorbed through the skin. So I started spraying it on my stomach after the shower. But what I love about your magnesium products is that they're not itchy. I used to spray it on and then wait a few minutes, and then when I couldn't stand it anymore, I'd have to wipe it off because it was so itchy. But I don't know what kind of magnesium you're using, but I love that it doesn't itch. I also love that you guys have magnesium lotions, and one of the most popular products here at the studio is this that I also have in the bathroom called Relieve Your Pain, which, by the way, is a very funny thing to have in a Pilates studio. I often get remarks from people being like, should I be worried that you have this cream in the bathroom?
They think you're going to do something to them.
Well, Pilates does have a little bit of a bad rap as being somewhat painful, but yes, they do think I'm going to do something maybe a little more terrible to them because of this cream. But it's also been a really great thing for people to sort of use and try in their practice, because I think it's helped a lot of people.
Yeah, well, what's so great about magnesium and that particular cream, which is magnesium and then menthol derived from peppermint, so it's got that cooling ice pack effect, is magnesium relaxes your muscles. And we know that when our muscles are looser, we can also move better and feel better when we move. So I think you're right. Magnesium creams or sprays can be a great part of a movement practice.
But what I love about magnesium is that it helps people with who have headaches. It also helps people have better bowel movements. It just seems to be a mineral that we're often lacking that does so many different things. It's almost like what I like to say about Pilates props. Like, I love a Pilates prop that's multifunctional. That's what magnesium seems to be. Like, it does so many different things for so many different people. It seems like a no-brainer to sort of add that into my routine.
The magic of multifunctional magnesium. Look at that alliteration. I love it. I love it. We're gonna actually show you some movements. I might even try them too, and I hope you all try them at home as you're watching this, or save this episode and do them later on. So first set of movements, Blossom, where are we going?
Got it. Well, so I thought we would start with just a few, like a little bit of a relaxing sort of thing. So I have set up a few things, just a chair and a little bit of a mat. Again, you don't need to have this formal yoga mat. I've actually doubled it because I like a little more cushioning on the floor. So wherever you're comfortable, it could even just be a folded blanket, but you do maybe want a hard surface underneath, something softer if that's what you need. So let's go with something for to sort of reset and relax. So I just want to take you through a few exercises that you can do to sort of help you calm down at the end of the day. I find that just a little bit of movement goes a long way. So if you get yourself onto the floor and on your hands and knees, and if on your hands and knees is not comfortable, you can always come onto your elbows. But come onto your hands and knees and just take a moment to really let your head dangle and maybe round your back. And this exercise, or little series, is often known as cat-cow. With your head hanging down, just gently shake your head no. And from here, slowly reverse your spine from the bottom to the top, taking your time. And when you get to about that mid-back, really giving a big exhale to lift the chin, lift the chest, and push the floor away. And from the bottom to the top, drop your head, curl the pelvis, and slowly reverse your spine and let your head just dangle again. Let's do that one more time. Slowly reverse your spine. Big exhale, lift the chin and chest. Now this time, keep the chest lifted and sit back for the heels, reaching your hips backwards, chin forward, and really push into the hands like you're a cat stretching. And if you don't like cats, you can pretend to be a dog. And drop your head and round and just relax. Let's do that one more time. Curl to come up. And really reverse your spine from the bottom to the top. Lift your chin, lift your chest, pushing that floor away. And reaching the chin forward and your hips backwards. Slowly take your time going backwards, reaching your chin forward and pushing into the hands as you just relax down. And at the bottom here, take a few breaths. Maybe feel your back expand and see if you can help quiet your mind. Maybe rest your hands underneath your forehead and just take another couple of breaths. So that's one way to relax, just doing a simple cat-cow motion of your spine. Now, come up to seated, and you can do this seated on top of a chair, but just another simple thing, and sometimes it's nice to just hold the shoulder. Let's just do a simple neck roll. So ear to shoulder, and then to the other side, ear to shoulder. So I have you holding onto your shoulder so that you can think of what you're going away from with the crown of your head. We often forget about our neck and the tension we can hold there. And if you can, maybe try to relax your jaw muscles. And after you do this ear to shoulder a few times, how about letting the chin come to the chest? Let yourself hang, ear to the other shoulder. And maybe look up to the ceiling, chin reaches up, and do a few head circles now in the same direction. Taking your time, and just letting gravity take the crown of your head. And let's do that to the other side, going and circling the head in the other direction. I know it's so simple, but little things like this can go a long way. And one more circle. And relax. I actually feel better already. I don't know about you.
That's so good.
Right? I know. Those necks. So I want to lie down on your back and show you one more sort of great relaxation way to, so a little Pilates, yet also a really great way to help you sort of calm down before going to bed. So lie on your back for a moment for me, and you're going to be doing an exercise that's known as double leg stretch. So lying on your back, you're simply hugging your knees into your chest, and you lift your head up, and you're going to pull really tight into a tight ball. Like maybe your bum comes up off the ground and you reach out and lengthen. Now, I'm wearing my legs pretty low, but you can go legs higher, whatever feels good. But the idea is that you circle the arms around, you pull yourself into a tight ball. You can even squeeze everything, elbows in, knees into the chest, and then reach those legs out. Get as big as you possibly can. Spread the toes, maybe point the feet. Circle the arms around, pull in, squeeze. Reach and lengthen long. And one more time, you pull in and pull yourself into a tight ball. This time, just rest your head, put your feet down, and relax on the floor and take a few deep breaths. So the thinking behind that is you really pull yourself tight, squeeze every muscle, and just release it. Right? Just that alone will also help you get some nice relaxation in before bed. We might have lost you, Stephanie.
Wait, was I not supposed to go to sleep right then?
I mean, actually, that is exactly right. And by the way, that one you could do in bed. You could definitely do that one in bed. Just so you know, squeeze really tight and reach. It is a Pilates exercise to do the double leg stretch, but I'm thinking about that more as a sort of way to help you relax. One more thing, sitting on a chair. I'm going to give you a profile view of me sitting on this chair. So simply to open up. So often we're sort of seated and rounded. I want you to sort of do the opposite. You're just going to open, reach, and look up. You can keep the elbows going back. If you can straighten your arms, great. So inhale, look up, and exhale, just again, tight ball. Just a couple of those. So inhale, reach and open, and exhale, draw in. Time. Inhale, reach, open the chest, look up, and then circle in, and then just come up to sitting up tall, and now you can go to sleep if you want to.
Perfect. And that's so great because you could do that. I mean, you can do that anywhere in your apartment or your house. Even if you're traveling, you could do that in a hotel room.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, yes, you can do it in your hotel room, definitely. And yeah, because you just need a chair. Nothing too crazy. You can even, if you also want to, you could use the chair and do a cat-cow. If you don't want to actually get on the floor, you could use your chair and do a cat and cow this way, right? Just to move the spine.
I love that too for people where maybe it's hard to get up and off the floor. So it's another version that's a little bit easier to get into.
Yes, yeah, or sometimes you don't want to get on the floor.
That's true. If you are in a hotel room, you may not want to get on the floor. Great. Well, I love what we just did. First of all, I feel so much more relaxed just having done those with you. And one thing we always talk about at a sutra is a power down hour, right? Things that help you feel relaxed, that signal to your body, your brain, that it's time to calm down, wind down, prepare for bed. Because I think so often we're all running around all day, right? Whether we're working at our computer, running our kids around, going grocery shopping, making dinner, and then we expect that after all that activity and all of that stress, we're just going to be able to lie down in bed, close our eyes, and fall asleep. But the reality is we need that time to unwind. So I always talk about the power down hour, and I do things like our lavender mist. But I love this idea of a few, see, you've got it too. I always spritz that on my pillow at night and use my magnesium oil spray. But what I love about this is that didn't take that long. You can even pick one or two of those things and do them right before you go to bed. And it just helps bring everything down a bit, like you said.
It's true. I think the other thing that happens too is sometimes we almost have too much energy at the end of the night, and maybe I sometimes use exercise to help me. So that was more to sort of calm down. I sometimes use exercise to get me, just to tire me out at the end of the day. Even though I am tired, I sometimes feel I need that little extra pushover just to really relax. So can I share with you some of those exercises that I think?
Yes, please.
Great. So this next set of exercises is known as the stomach series in Pilates. It's definitely It takes a lot of work and energy, but that's the point, right? So I'm going to speak sort of quickly. If you want to, you maybe practice it a couple of times, and then it goes faster and faster. And if you want to go faster and do more repetitions in there, you definitely can. But I'm just going to sort of teach it to you, and we'll see how it goes. But this is to really get your energy flowing so that you can maybe then just relax at the end of your day. Yeah?
Get rid of that excess energy.
Yes.
Sometimes we feel all hopped up or wound up. Maybe something big happened or something stressful. So this is a way to like get that out of ourselves and let our bodies relax.
Down a little bit. Great. Okay, so it's known as the stomach series, which I always think is a Pilates joke because it's all stomach. It seems like it's all stomach. Anyway, so you'll know this, and it's sort of a well-known series, and it's simply called the stomach series. So when you're ready, just bring your knees into your chest and pull very tight. And on the next exhale, the sort of simple way to do this is just simply extend one leg forward. You're holding onto one knee into the chest, and you're just simply going to go side to side. That's the exercise. Now, if you'd like to make it harder, you lift your head up. If you'd like to make it even harder, you bring your one leg really low to the ground. That's the exercise. Let's inhale for a set and exhale for a set. I'm doing a little push-pull with my arms. And maybe one more breath. And when you're ready, if your head is tired, you put your head down. And if you can, you bring both knees into your chest and you keep going. You bring your arms and legs forward for a moment. How low you go is up to you. Higher is a little easier in the back. Bring the arms back and hold. Circle the arms around, pull tight. Again, please. Arms and legs forward. Arms go back. Circle the arms around, pull tight. One more. Forward with the arms and legs. Arms will go back, circle around. Maybe arms go back, legs go forward 3 times. Inhale, big exhale. If your head is tired, you can put it down, right? Do what you can. 2 more. Keep breathing with it. 1 more. Really pull tight. Rest your head down, please. On the next one, you're going to do the scissors. Extend one leg up to the ceiling. I don't care which one it is. Hold on to it as best as you can. Maybe it's at your thigh. Maybe it's at your calf. Extend the other leg forward. Lift your head up. This is the scissor, and you give yourself a little pull, a bigger pull. Change legs, little, big. And now faster if you can. This one's a little hard to put the head down, but if your head is tired, please put it down, right? Or put one hand behind the head. Change, right? Keep going. Maybe you're going faster or slower. It's up to you. You could even flex your feet if you want an extra stretch in the back of your legs. Okay, next one. Bend both knees into your chest. Hands behind the head, stretch the legs up to the ceiling. You're going to inhale, lower the legs a little bit. Press those legs together. Exhale to bring the legs up. Let's do that 3 more times. So this is sort of the small version. Use that exhale to come up. You may make it bigger, right? Go as low as you want and exhale to bring it up. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. Big exhale to bring the legs up. You have 1 more. Big exhale to bring the legs up. Bend the knees into the chest. I'm going to keep pushing. Rest your head if you need to. Twist to face me and bring the opposite leg into the chest. The other leg goes forward. Change. Think elbow to knee. Change elbow to knee. And now when you're ready, go faster and keep breathing. Inhaling. Exhaling. Go at your pace. Maybe your legs are higher. It's up to you. Just 1 more breath. After this, hug your knees into the chest, pull tight. 1 last bit, put your feet down. Lift your hips up into the air and feel your back working, feel your toes, feel your feet. Inhale, reach back. And as you exhale, let's roll down slowly. Upper back comes down, middle back, waistline, tailbone. And now you can just put your hands at your chest. Extend the legs along the floor and just take a moment to breathe. And I sometimes just like to literally feel myself breathe and feel my rib cage expanding and releasing under my hands. Now it's nap time. So that's a little series to sort of really get you moving. Maybe.
Oh yeah. I felt the energy. I felt the energy flowing. I love that last movement too, though, because it's like energy, 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 use it up. And then bring yourself down a little bit with yourself on your back, your hips lifted in the bridge. I love that movement with your arms overhead and you just roll through the spine, which feels so nice. And then feeling yourself breathe. I mean, feeling yourself consciously breathing is such a great way to calm down as well.
I know, such a cheap trick. Like, wow, breathing really can be just like a mindful breathing is really magical.
Yeah. I think you said there was another set of exercises you'd recommend if you just kind of like need a reset in the middle of the day.
Yeah, so in Pilates, there's a lot of sort of flexion exercises where you're doing a sit-up this way. And I just feel like with the world the way it is, we're so much in flexion. So in my Pilates teaching, I've been really working a lot on extension. And I think pretty much everyone can use a lot more extension in their lives. And I'd love to share with you this little series. It's a little bit of a warm-up from a woman that I work with sometimes named Deborah Lesson, also trained by a Pilates elder as I was. But I'm going to just show you this series. This one, I am on a mat. I'm definitely on the floor. You maybe could play around with doing it on a wall, but I really love the feeling of gravity on my body at this one. So if you want to try it, come and join me on the mat. You're going to set your hands underneath your forehead. I just simply make a pillow with my hands, and I rest my forehead down on my fingertips. Take a few breaths here. And on your next exhale, you're going to start to let the chest come down to lift the head up. Inhale, keep your eyes lifted. Now, the bottom of my ribs are down, stepping. My hands are on the floor, so I'm pushing down into my knees and elbows, lifting my chest, but I keep the bottom of my ribs down. That's what we're working on. Now, stay there, eyes up a little bit more, Stephanie, chin up. And then as you exhale, you reach the breastbone forward, the collarbones forward, and you rest your fingertips, your hands down on your fingertips. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale. As you exhale, chest drops, head lifts. Push into the hands. How much can you lift, but keep the rib cage down? You should feel some upper rib cage muscles working, the upper thoracic spine. And as you exhale, reach the breastbone forward, elbows reach forward, and rest your head. Let's do that one more time. Exhale to lift the chin, drop the ribs, lift the chest, and then slowly come back down, reaching the elbows forward and rest. Now this next one's a little silly, but it's called the baby butt. So I know it's hard to see, but Stephanie, I'm essentially sticking my butt up in the air. That's what I'm doing. Now here's the thing. When you go to do that, you're going to want to push down into your knees. You're really just going to arch the lowest part of your back, trying not to push down with your legs, and release. So this exercise got its name through my teacher, who was an amazing woman named Kathy Grant. And she would say, you know when a baby doesn't like its diaper and it kind of sticks its butt out up in the air? We're doing. But it's really working those low back muscles that help us sit up straight and stand tall. One more. So baby butt and come on down. Next piece, you're going to hover head, arms, and legs just 1 inch off the ground. Head, arms, that's it. Fingertips are on the forehead. Now staying here. Can you have equal weight in the rib cage and in the pelvis? And let's clap the legs together. Inhaling and exhaling. A couple more breaths like that. Inhale and exhale. Yep, keep opening and closing the legs. One more breath. And exhale, take it down. And from here, I usually push back and sit toward my heels and go into a bit of a child's pose just to come out of it. But those little muscles working that upper thoracic spine and that low back,
yeah,
so important, especially as we age.
Oh, that's interesting. Why is it important as we age?
Yeah, I can show you right now. So here's a little thing I'm sitting on. So most people, as we get older, this is sort of this is the slouch, right? Mm-hmm. And when we go to sit up tall or sort of upright ourselves on our pelvis, that's the baby butt I'm doing right now. Those muscles, as people get older, get a little more sedentary, and those are the muscles that we actually really need to be working because that's what helps us sit up tall and keep our spine strong. Yeah, it's the multifidus.
That was awesome. I really felt that in my thoracic spine. I have a little curvature or scoliosis in my thoracic spine, which is the upper part of our spine, right?
Yes.
And so it feels good to, as you said, to open up, because so much of the time we're on our phones like this, we're on our computers like this, right? We're watching a movie on our iPad. So it feels good to just open that up. And that's good for our souls too. Just open your heart up.
It's also good for breathing, because if you can't do this, you're not taking a deep breath. If your ribs lack the ability to open and lift up, you're actually not getting a full amount of oxygen into your lungs. So, yeah.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be hard to start a new habit. Let's say I haven't been moving, but I want to. Do you have advice on like what's one simple step I could take to get moving, to get my body moving?
Well, I would say, first of all, try some of these things I just filmed for you, right? That because these are just some simple movements that you can start to do. And if you're liking the way that feels and think you want to know more, there's so many different resources now. You can go online, you can check out my streaming site, you can even go on YouTube and find lots of different Pilates things. And my disclaimer is that if you are trying it and you don't like it, move on. There's so much more content out there. Find the stuff that really works for you and do it in small, digestible pieces. Don't think of like, I've got to do an hour. Honestly, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, a little bit more each time. That's really how you start to do Pilates. And then if you're liking it, go try a group class. Group classes are really inexpensive out there. And then if you really want some help and you think, oh, something's not quite right, go seek out a qualified instructor, because a few tips here and there can help you a lot. I have a client and he actually just does the 34 mat exercises. He did it reading Mr. Pilates' book. And whenever he comes into town, he goes, okay, this is what I want to work on. Can you look at this exercise? And I do a little bit of we call it dusting. Like, okay, let's dust this around. All right, we're good. And then he comes back. And so, there's lots of different ways to do Pilates, and it doesn't have to be that you go to a class every week like a lot of people do. There's lots of different ways to do it and so many resources. So go out there and look for it and find what works best for you.
If you like this video, please like it, comment, and subscribe to our channel.